You know what I thought of? I go to the movies every week, so I have to tell you guys what I think. I am back to do another movie review. The movie that I just recently went to go see. If you love action, then this is a movie that you need to see. It is so good, you guys. I'm telling you. I'm back for another movie review. As always, make sure that you do hit the like button, make sure that you do subscribe, and go ahead and leave me some comments, whether you've seen the movie, did you like Venom part 1, part 2, or just maybe a movie you want me to see. Go ahead and leave that in the comments. Now, let's jump into the movie I went to go see. That was Venom part 2. Now, I don't know if you saw Venom Part 1, but this is so much better than Venom Part 1. I'm going to go ahead and just jump right into it. First of all, I'm going to tell you guys that movie was so good. It was a lot better than I expected because I kind of didn't like Venom Part 1. I thought it was just okay. It takes so long for him to appear in Part 1, and it was kind of like really grotesque at times. You guys know how I feel about sci-fi, but I'm going to go ahead and jump into those reasons. First, let me give you a little backstory. And as you know, he is based on a Marvel character. He's produced actually in Marvel Studios. That's why you always see when it comes on in the beginning, it talks about it's with Marvel. It's not from Marvel because it's filmed in the Marvel Studios, but yet it is owned by Sony. There's a lot of people that have their hands on Venom, and definitely Venom is, you're not going to see him with other characters, even though he was first brought out in the Amazing Superman comics. The first Superman comic was in May 1984, edition number 252, and it's called the Alien Costume. That's when he's first introduced. It kind of reminds you of the Spider-Man Part 3 with Tobey Maguire, when he gets in that black thing, and it definitely, it changes him because it makes him more mad. It makes him more sassy. It makes him more, look at me talking about sassy. It makes him more aggressive. That's what you say for a guy. It makes him more aggressive. So we didn't like Tobey Maguire with that on. So definitely Venom is like, I don't know. Do we want to give him his own character? He's going to be so mean. We want him to be like loving a little bit. You want people to be like him just a little bit. So I was a little concerned. Now, going back, as time went on, they did show him again, another cameo appearance in the Amazing Spider-Man edition of number 299 that came out in April 1988. Finally, he had his full appearance where they really, in the number 300 edition of Amazing Spider-Man, where you actually get to see Venom. He's more of like a liquid form that needs a host, and it's usually a human. And that's where he was connected with Eddie Brock. Now, Eddie Brock is played by Thomas Hardy. Now, he's an English actor, and he's been in so many movies. In 2001, Black Hawk Down. But the thing about him, I didn't realize that he played in so many movies. He studied at film school in London, and that's why he was so versatile. He's able to do so many different parts. I mean, he can play something in Star Trek, then turn around and play Mad Max, Fury, but then turn around and play something like Marie Antoinette or Oliver Twist. So he's very versatile. He is really good actor. Not just looking at the actor, let's look at the relationship between them two. It's a love-hate relationship. It's been 3 years since part 1, since he was first brought into Eddie Brock's body, and now he's learned to live with him. He's learned the earthly ways. He's learned things to do and things what not to do. Like, for one, you can't go around eating human heads, The second thing is you can't just say exactly what you feel. But I liked it this time around because Venom was more like a human. He had a conscience. He was very nice. He really thought about the things that he was about to do. He wasn't just a savage alien. He was actually an embodied alien that listened to Eric Brock, listened to his ways. And since they were together, stuck in one body, they kind of worked things out, with his thoughts, of course, are always telling him things, but it's basically like his conscience, and his conscience is telling him nice things, His conscience is telling him friendly things, and some of us, all the time, we think in the back of our mind, and it's not an actual thing coming out of our back, but you know what? Sometimes we do think about things like, maybe I should have did that. Maybe I should have did this. Maybe I should say hi to this person. Maybe I should pick this up. And that's what they do in this movie. movie. That's what Venom does. He is like his voice of reason, is what I would like to say. That's what he is in this movie. Now, as we go on, I don't even think I need to have a big old introduction for this next actor because his name stands on its own. I'm talking about Woody Harrelson. I mean, all I had to say was white man can't jump, and you would have knew exactly who I was talking about if it wasn't Wesley Snipes, because Woody Harrelson, I mean, that's my boy right there. He has played in so many different things. I mean, Woody Harrelson is just a full-blown wonderful actor. He has never been, quite like the supermodel type. He's not so much of a looker, but his talent makes up for anything that you would ever think about Woody Harrelson. And the thing about him is that I've been watching him grow for so long. I mean, I don't want to give away my age, but I used to watch him on Cheers. Yes, it was a show that came on at night. It would probably be Nick at Night now, but it was called Cheers, and they were in a bar, and it was him, it was Ted Danson, it was Kirstie Alley, it was Shelley Long, it was Rhea Perlman. I mean, I know everything about them. When the guy walked in, Norm, I mean, I definitely remember Cheers, but he has come such a long way from Cheers. And he is a serial killer, but his body is taken over by carnage, and it is just the rage that's inside of him, because it's actually an alien form, but it takes on the rage. Even though it's inside of a human, the form of it is just still kind of ruthless. You can't tell them nothing. They're going to smash anything that's in their way. Now, what I did like about him in that relationship is that they talked about how he became a serial killer. It wasn't just like he was born a serial killer. They show how he developed being a serial killer, how he had an abusive father, and then he was shipped off to like a really scary boarding school type thing, a foster care type thing, and where he was beat up on a regular basis. And that's when he finds the love of his life. And I love that part about it, because they kind of threw the interracial thing in there, and it's not just the black man and the Caucasian woman. It was more like the African American woman and the Caucasian man. So I was like, okay, I like that. Got the little interracial thing going on. But I also like the fact that it gave the story of how she defended him. She was a mutant as well. And you know what? You've seen her in a lot of things. They have her playing like, the scary wench and stuff like that in Pirates of the Caribbean. So that is something that is just what they do in Hollywood. You know that. But you know what? She does star in the new 007 movie that comes out, I think, this Friday. And I'm sure she's going to look beautiful in that. So let's go on and start talking about a little bit more about the plot of the movie. So you have Cletus, like the natural born killers feel to it. You know what I'm saying? That movie, it kind of gives you that type of feel to it. They're like ride or die no matter what. But the thing that happens is that Carnage is the very bad side. So with Carnage, all it does is bring out more of the evil side. He just wants to kill everything, and he's just using Woody Harrelson's body as a host to do what he wants to do, which is basically kill people, eat their heads off, because he needs their heads for energy. Isn't that something? They had to eat brains. But so that's basically what Carnage wants to do. He doesn't care anything about Cletus, Woody Harrelson's girlfriend. He doesn't care about anything. He just wants to get him some more brains so he can be stronger and stronger. Then you have back to Eddie Brock. Now, it's been 3 years since the first one, and they've been living together, and they're kind of getting like cabin fever with one another. I mean, it's like a toxic relationship. So angry at each other. They're telling each other they hate each other, and he's just like, I want my life back. You know what I'm saying? He's telling Venom, I want my life back. Just go, get away from me. I don't have nothing to do with you anymore. And instead of Venom just turning around and eating, knocking his head off, going ahead and eating him, he went ahead and just went into other bodies, and he made it across city, and he was like, I don't need you anymore. That's fine. I'll live through different people's bodies. But he still kept the same values. He didn't want to eat people's heads off. So after a while, he began to lose a lot of his energy. And that is the part that's really like hard. It's like, okay, he did stick to some of his morals that he learned from Eddie Brock. Now, there is one scene that I really liked, is when he's partying like at a rave. Yes, he's partying, and it's more of a costume party. And recognize that this is a real alien monster walking around them, big and tall. They kept saying, this is a bomb costume. I love your costume. And here it is, a real alien. Okay, so that part I thought was really funny. And as you move on through the movie, it goes really fast. I'm not going to lie to you. That's what I like about this movie. You're like in, it's to the plot, you're out, and it's over. The movie is only like an hour and 37 minutes. So anyway, you have Carnage that's going through town, wrecking up stuff, and you have Eddie Brock that doesn't have Venom. So, you know, it takes some time. They reconnect, and next thing you know, alien monster against another alien monster, and that was the big fight. I mean, so Venom is trying to fight. He's not really fighting dirty like that, but Carnage is fighting dirty. He's like, you know, he's new to this. That when she screams, it's kind of like X-Men. She has this power to bust sound waves, you know, but that is something that Venom and Carnage cannot stand. That is like debilitating to them. So they're like, please do not scream, you know. And of course, a couple of times she screamed, and Carnage is like, you know what? I don't care if that's your boo or not. She will be dead if she screams one more time. But, you know, as things work, is the one that it's almost like a Sylvester Stallone movie with Rocky. He is beat down. Eddie Brock doesn't have anything left to give him. And you know why? What's the reason why, ladies and gentlemen? Because he hasn't eaten a head. He needs to eat a head for energy. So that is the part we're wondering, like, whose head is he going to eat first? You know, like, is it going to be the girlfriend who's laying dead on the floor? Is it going to be Cletus, you know, even though he's trying to get out the body? Is it going to be the detective that's been following Eddie Brock ever since the beginning? Because every time it's a murder, you have Eddie Brock in the vicinity. Or is it going to be his ex-wife who still loves him, you know, but he needs to get his stuff together? Or is it going to be the ex-wife's boyfriend or fiance now, because you know what, he's like, Eddie Brock is just a cool dude, he just got an alien problem. It's really weird, it's really fun, it's really something that when you go to Marvel movies, you're not going to see a lot of reality, but you're going to see a lot of entertainment. And Eddie Brock do reign victorious. And then one of the best scenes that I like is right before they're about to eat Woody Harrelson's head, he goes like, well, all I really wanted was a friend. Because, you know, Eddie Brock is a journalist. And when he was on death row, he interviewed Cletus. And he looked at him and he was like, you don't understand. All I really wanted was a friend. And Venom looks, he was like, end the movie. I promise. That is the end of the movie. And then what do Venom and Eddie Brock do? They go on the run. Then next thing you know, you see them like laying up somewhere and about what they're going to do next, how they're going to stop bad guys. And that's it. Besides that, there is nothing wrong with this movie. I think this movie is violent. A PG-13 clean fun type of movie, then that's going to be your movie as Venom 2. So with that being said, I'll see you next time.